Hey family, I just wanted to pop in real quick and let you know that this is a little bit of a longer video, and I was kind of on the fence on whether or not I was going to post it, but I decided to post it. I feel like there's some valuable information. So if you find yourself with a little over a half an hour and nothing to do, like grab yourself some popcorn, get some hot chocolate or some apple cider, sit back and let's just have a little girl chat. So all my videos won't be this long, but I really didn't want to break this video into two parts, and I didn't want to not share it. So this is kind of, I've been on the fence about whether or not to post it, but I decided to post it anyway. So I hope you enjoy it, and then we will get to our series of all the goodness of side hustles and all of that wonderfulness. So enjoy the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey family, what's up? It's your girl here, and I'm back as promised with your second video this week. What? I know what you were thinking. I know you thought that I wasn't going to come with the video. I know that's what you thought, because you didn't get the first one until midweek, and you thought she's not going to come with a new video. We're going to get on a schedule on what days the videos are going to come. But in the meantime, you're still going to get 2 videos a week, because I'm long-winded and I have a lot that I want to talk to you about, right? I want us to chat with family. I've been gone for so long. I just feel like there's so much I need to catch you up on. Anywho, so I hope you like the new name. And yeah, I'm excited about that. Whoop, whoop, whoop. If you haven't seen that video, I will attempt, as I'm getting back in my YouTube steez, I will attempt to put it somewhere in the atmosphere. If I don't put it in the atmosphere, it'll definitely be linked below. Maybe I'll put it over here. Anyway, it will be somewhere up and through here where I talk about the channel name, okay? The channel name and the channel name changed, okay? So be on the lookout. Like I said, it's not happening right away. I want to give you some time to get back into the groove of rocking with your girl. Okay. And then we'll get into the channel name change. Okay, so this is what I want to talk to you about today. And then we're going to pick a series after this video, probably, to dive into, and so you and I can have just an awesome girl chat the way we like to. All right, but I want to talk to you about some things I've learned this year. So you already know the story, yada, 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 cancer diagnosis, pre-diabetic, high cholesterol, like all of that happened earlier this year. Take that in, and was off work for most of the year. And when you're at home and you're off work and you're evaluating like your life choices, you have a lot of time to sit and reflect and pray and think and listen and be quiet, and you got to really be comfortable with yourself, because everybody else is at work and you're at home. Okay, so let's talk about 10 things that I've learned this year. Okay, and I know it's only October, so there's still more learnings that could happen, but these are the 10 things that I find myself going back to and saying over and over and over and over and over again this year, right? So the first thing being is you have to take care of yourself. Let me tell you, when I first got diagnosed, I was like, am I really in this bad a condition? You know? And so I really, in the past, had underestimated the importance and the value of taking care of myself, not just maintaining myself, but taking care of myself. And when we get into my whole self-care series, we're going to talk about the difference between self-care and self-maintenance. But like, I was maintaining myself, like I was eating, I was sleeping, I had a place to live, and I had clothes on my back. But was I really taking care of myself? And so like, one of the things I want you to know, and I want you to think about, is the way you're living. Would you consider that care, or would you consider that maintenance? Right? Because like, on a surface level, you could easily confuse the two. Right? But here's the thing. To me, when you're maintaining something, you're keeping it functioning. Right? You know, you maintenance on your car is like, I'm doing maintenance because I want the car to continue to run. So I give it gas, I give it oil changes, I get filter changes or whatever, but are you really caring for the car, right? More importantly, yourself, your life, your relationship, your body, your health. Like, are you caring for these things, or are you maintaining these things? Because maintenance is only going to take you so far. Care, however, gives longevity to a thing, right? So that's kind of one of the first things that I learned this year. The second, which is whatever. Listen, we could do a whole series on that. This is the power of vulnerability. If you are like me, girl, and I know you're like me, because you wouldn't be here if you wouldn't. I love self-development books. I love self-help books, self-helpery, personal development, improvement. I like all of that. I'm into it. I love it. I'm a little bit of a self-development junkie. Okay, if it's all about me understanding how I function better and to live a higher quality life, yada, 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 girl, I'm here for it. You hear me? I'm here for it. And so I got a chance to listen to a lot of audiobooks, and watch a lot of videos. I've watched The Power of Vulnerability from Brene Brown. I've read The Gifts of Imperfection. I've read, what was her other book? Daring Greatly. I've been out here in these streets getting my self-helpery life snatched. You hear me? I've been getting it together. Okay, I've been getting it together. And one of the biggest things that I realized that was hindering me from getting to where I wanted to be was the fact that I wasn't being honest with myself about what I really wanted, right? Like, I wasn't being honest with myself about how I felt. I wasn't being honest with myself about the state that my life was in. I wasn't being honest with other people as far as either how I felt about them or what I wanted out of the friendship or the relationship or the family ship or whatever. And so, but in order to do that, it requires varying degrees of vulnerability. And for me, I feel like we have been taught vulnerability is a weakness, right? Like, if you think about it, like, when's the last time, like, the phrase, don't get caught up in your feelings. Now, while I somewhat agree with that, because feelings will run you ragged because they change, right? Or don't catch feelings. What do you mean don't catch feelings? Like, aren't I supposed to want to feel a certain way about a person if we're interacting, right? Like, there's all these messages that basically say, don't be vulnerable, because it's not hot to be vulnerable. It's not hot in the streets to be vulnerable. Makes you weak to be vulnerable. And actually, that's not true. The quality of my life has improved drastically when I have embraced vulnerability as a lifestyle. Like, you don't get to go take like a course on vulnerability and come out and be like, yay, now I'm vulnerable. Like, it's a real-time decision every time you choose to do it. Okay. So I've learned to be vulnerable, and like I said, that could have its own entire series, but I highly recommend watching Brene Brown's The Power of Vulnerability. But girl, look, I know if you're like me, you probably have already watched it. I've watched it like 500 times. I probably need to watch it once a month for the next like 6 years, just to make sure my life is in order. Okay. like she was snatching edges, brows, taking names, and she didn't even know it. Okay. It was really, really good. And her books are equally as good. And I think I might have read Rising Strong. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'll let you know what I've read at another time. I may do a video on all the things that I read, because, well, and let me say this, I listen to, because I do audiobooks, just because I can get it over and over and over multiple times, and then if I really, really, really attach to a book, I'll think about buying it. But the chances of your girl Evelyn sitting down and reading a book, highly unlikely. Okay, let me get through these, because otherwise this video will be like 400,000 minutes long. Okay, y'all know I'm long-winded, and I'm just excited to be back. I'm excited to be back. Okay, back to the point. All right, so the third thing I learned was it's okay not to be okay. And let me just say this. When you get the kind of news that I got, right, I went into, something's wrong with me. I need to fix it. I'm not doing something right. What have I done to myself? Whatever, and was immediately in fix it mode. And granted, because of the nature of what it was, like, that makes sense to an degree. But at the end of the day, I also had to go, like, the emotional stuff that came with it. I also had to allow myself to not be okay with that, right? To be like, this sucks really bad. Like, y'all could have had this. Y'all could have said that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really too much want no parts in this, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? The cancer tried to come for me. I wasn't really trying to send for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, did nobody tell you to you can ring my bell? Like, nope, I didn't tell you to do any of that. But then I had to go, it's okay for me to be sad about this and frustrated and angry and confused and hurt and disappointed and totally ticked off, right? Like, it's okay for me to go through all those emotions as long as I don't linger in those as a lifestyle, and as long as I don't allow them to make me bitter. But I had to say, it's okay that I'm not okay, right? Like, and I had to allow myself, when people be like, how are you? Yeah, not doing great today, right? And versus just going, oh, I'm good. I'm handling, I'm as good as to be expected. But it's not really the truth, right? Like, that goes back to being vulnerable. So it's okay not to be okay. And I've found myself in moments this year having to remind myself, hey, it's okay not to be okay from time to time. It's okay. It's totally okay. Don't live there. Don't set up shop there. Don't build a tiny house there. But it's okay not to be okay. So number 4 is that I've learned to ask for what I want. And I don't know where I picked this up in the process. And I'm kind of going to loop it to some other things that I've learned. But it's hard to ask for what you want if you're not real with yourself and others and being vulnerable, right? So, or saying no. Like, I've never been the person that's had an issue with saying no. But I found myself sliding into that and being like, I don't want this and I don't want to do it. Okay, so therefore I'm not. But also to ask for what I want in certain situations, be like, hey, this is what I would like, what's up? Okay, so had to get really, really comfortable with that. But that also stemmed from being vulnerable and then understanding what I needed to take care of myself. So you see how this builds on top of each other? Like, I can't ask for what I want, or more importantly, what I need, if I don't know what I need that makes me feel taken care of and without being vulnerable. You feel what I'm saying? So ask for what, I had to ask for what I wanted. And then number 5 is probably my biggest one. If you guys watched the last video on the channel name change, then you totally understand this. It was about getting in the driver's seat of my life. And I think the song, I can't remember if it's by LeAnn Rimes or something, that Jesus Take the Wheel. And I like that song, but I don't 100% agree with the lyrics. Like, it's catchy, right? Take the wheel, Jesus. I mean, we make memes out of it. We take jokes out of it. But the reality is, we're in the driver's seats. And God is the GPS, right? That has the coordinates on ultimately where we're going, right? And you put it in and say, okay, I want to go where you want me to go. And then he gives you the coordinates. But he doesn't force the steering wheel. He doesn't push the brake, right? All the time. Well, sometimes he'll be like, hold up. But here's the thing. You can either go in that direction and it could be an easier, not easy, but an easier ride. You still may run into a detour, construction, a flat tire, all of that kind of stuff. But he can see where the traffic pockets are. He can see where there's construction, and he either is going to say reroute you around it, or he's going to say you're on the fastest route, so just keep going straight ahead. But what I realize is, if you're not in the driver's seat following those directions, checking in from time to time, knowing where you're going, then you can end up anywhere. I mean, when's the last time you just got in your car and just drove and you didn't know where you were going? Rarely. Right? And so, listen, and if you're going in the wrong direction, you'll get the, hey, make a U-turn. Hey, make a left. Rerouting. What I don't want to do is spend my life in rerouting, right? Like, I don't want to keep saying, I want to go over here to point A and I'm at point S, and the GPS got so tired of saying rerouting, it just got quiet and just says return to the route. Y'all ever been so far? Y'all ever been so far off your GPS directions that it was like, please return to the route? I have. I was the same way in life, y'all. I was the same way. I don't want to do it no more. So I had to get in the driver's seat in multiple areas. This is probably the biggest one, is getting in the driver's seat. About my health, about my life, my relationships, my family, my loved ones, my quality of life, my career. I had to get in the driver's seat. And I needed the GPS. Ain't no point in having the GPS going with the coordinates if you hanging off the spoiler in the back, or sitting in the trunk, or somebody else is in the driver's seat, or multiple people got their hands on your steering wheel, right? Get in the driver's seat of your own life. Get out the passenger seat, get out the back seat. This ain't Uber. You know what I'm saying? See, I think that's what we want. I think we want to say, hey, I'm going here. Let me just call up the Uber. And I just want to get in, and then I trust that you're going to take me there. And that way I don't have to think about it. I don't have to do no work. I don't have to, like, if I'm in traffic, that's okay. I'm distracted with social media and this and that and the material possessions and blah, 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 blah. Life is not an Uber ride. You got to drive this thing. You got to drive it. So getting the driver's seat is probably one of my biggest phrases that I've been repeating over and over and over again this year. And then it's interesting because as you start to look at your life, you can see it in the lives of your loved ones, of the people who are in the driver's seat and the people who are not. And like, when you're not in the driver's seat, who is? Like, if you're not driving, who's driving? And if you got 10, 15 different people on the steering wheel, you're liable. You probably going to wind up in an accident. If nothing else, you're going to have whiplash from going this over here and over here and over here. What do you want to do? Where are you trying to go? That's what I had to ask myself. I said, Evelyn, self, you need to get in the room with God and be like, listen, where are we going? You don't even necessarily, where are the coordinates? I need to be able to hear the GPS. And sometimes you got to turn down the distractions. You remember when you were younger and you were in the car with your parents, and if they got lost or they were looking for something because they didn't have GPS back then, at least if not if you're my age, and they turned the music down to follow directions. And I was talking to somebody this about the other day. I never understood that as a kid, right? I was like, what does your hearing have to do with your sight? Like, why do you have to turn down the music to see where you're going? And what I realized was, it wasn't about it was a distraction. They needed to focus. Okay. All right. Number 6, trust your gut. Listen, when I tell you, it really should say trust the responses to your prayers, trust the Holy Spirit. But I can tell you this, right? I can tell you this. Excuse me. I need to edit that out. I can tell you this. I learned to do this in my health, but I've also learned to do this in other areas, right? So, you got to be able to get still and go, that don't make sense to me, or something about that doesn't feel right, or I think this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And here's the thing. You don't need co-signers, right? Like, you don't need a board of directors to go, yeah, me too, me 3, me 12, right? Like, you need to get quiet and roll with it. Because you know, and here's the thing. You don't even have to know what it is. You don't have to know what it is to be like, I need to chill on that. Okay, so trust your gut. I said 10, but I think this is 9. I don't know how to count. Number 7 is knowing your value. Man, listen, when you know your value, you can charge your value. You know what to accept, what not to accept. You know what's okay. You know what's of equal or greater value. And you don't fall for the okie doke. You be like, where they do that at? You don't know what's going on over here. It's not a cockiness, it's an awareness, right? Like, it's not like I'm better than you, or I'm better than them, or I'm better than whatever. It's like, hey, This is what I'm worth. Would you like to rise to the occasion or no? Would you like to pay me my worth or no? Right? Would you like to function with me at this level or not? Right? Like it's not a cockiness, because it's not saying, oh, because I am at this value, you are a lesser value. It's saying, this is the value level, this is the worth level that I operate. Do you want to operate with me and interact with me at this level? Whether it's work, friends, family, dating, relationships, getting paid. This is what I charge. Would you like to interact with me at this level or no? And if not, that's okay, because there's somebody who will. Right? Think about that. Like that one, that's juicy. This next one was a big deal for me. And I'm going to tell you, all these independent women, whatever, like, y'all can have that. I need help. Okay, I had to learn to accept help, right? If I got to carry everything by myself all the time, I'm going to be exhausted. I'm going to be exhausted. I'm going to be tired. I'm going to be broke down. There will be no time for self-care, let alone barely going to make self-maintenance. If I got to do it all by myself all the time so I can wear some badge of honor, like, don't let these people be out here sell you these wolf tickets about being an independent woman. Yes. Should you be a self-sustaining woman? Absolutely. Right? Like, should you be a functioning adult? Yes. But if you are an independent woman, then you don't have dependence on God. And if you ever did get into a relationship or a marriage, you have to have interdependence, right? And I can't really speak on that because I'm not married, right? But like, all this, I can do it all by myself. Yeah, I could, but I don't wanna. Listen, can I say, it's the little things. I get tired of taking out the trash. I don't want to carry heavy stuff. I don't want to lift heavy things, right? You know, when I first got diagnosed, people were bringing me food. Thank you, because I'm so emotionally exhausted. I can't even figure out what I want to eat. Right? Like, it's not even about just the physical things, but it's like, I don't want to make all the decisions all the time. You know how exhausting that is? I got to make all the decisions all the time. I got to always be in control. Listen, if that's you, listen, God bless you, because I can't do it. And people out here, that's why people are having strokes, committing suicide, depressed, anxiety, on drugs. You can't. We weren't designed to do it alone. We were not designed to function that way. We were designed for community, for partnership, for relationships, for family, for friendship, for sisterhood. We were designed for all of that, for connection, right? So you don't have to do it alone. It's okay. Listen, let people help you, even if it makes you uncomfortable. Even if it makes you uncomfortable. I had to be like, yep, this makes me super uncomfortable. And I got to learn to accept it until it doesn't feel uncomfortable anymore. I will forever be grateful for the help, but I need to learn to accept it until it's like, it's okay. First of all, how many of you know when you have gotten a gift for somebody that you know they are going to love? You hear me, because you are the ultimate gift giver. You've been paying attention all year. You already know it's about to be fire. It's about to be lit. It's about to be all of this. Right? And you are waiting for the moment that they open it and they're so overwhelmed with excitement and joy and blah, 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 and that whole situation, right? Imagine if you were like, thanks, but the person was like, thanks, but no thanks. I can't accept it. Like, it's like popping your bubble, right? Like, you're like, what you mean? Like, yes, you can. You better. Just like we get that feeling, we need to allow people to have that feeling with us in our lives. And we need to give that, right? So it's okay to accept help. It's even okay to ask for help. Let me tell you how I'm so serious about this. I even accept help now that I don't need. And what I mean by that is, that's not greed. But let's say I'm carrying something and a random stranger is like, hey, would you like help carrying that? Even if I can carry it, I let them help me. Why? Because it makes their day, right? When I've been able to help somebody, and just lighten their load a little bit in whatever way that is, it makes me feel good. So I do it as a gift to the person. It's a double-sided gift. The person receiving the help gets the gift of the help, and the person giving help gets the gift of the joy of helping. Right? It's okay to ask. You don't want to misuse people, and you don't want to abuse people or situations or things, but it's like if you need the help, or the help could help, yes, you could eventually do it by yourself. Yes, you could eventually do it all on your own. Yes, but why? It's so exhausting. I can't I can't do it. I won't do it. And so number 9, so I said 10, but number 9, and this one is the big one, is setting boundaries. Listen, this goes back to the beginning when I talked about taking care of yourself. This also goes back to being vulnerable, right? And this also goes back to asking what you want. You got to set boundaries. And you don't have to be mean about it. Boundaries are for health. I want us to have a healthy working relationship, so I need to set a boundary with my job. I want to have us to have a healthy working relationship, so I need to set boundaries with the coworkers. I want to have a healthy relationship with myself, so I got to set boundaries on myself. I want to have a healthy relationship with my friends, so I need to set boundaries with my friends. I want to have a healthy relationship with my children. I don't have any children. I need to set boundaries with my children, with my family, with my significant other. I need to set boundaries. Okay? You need to know what those boundaries are for you. And here's the thing, it's not about the other person. It's never about the other person. The boundaries for you. Let me just use work for example. If you want to have a healthy work relationship and you don't want to end up hating your job or being miserable while you're there, while you're trying to transition careers or whatever it is you're doing, then you need to set some boundaries. Like, don't take emails when you're at home unless you work from home or unless you're on call that weekend or that week. Just don't. Nope. I get paid for these hours. And here's the thing, you don't even have to announce it. Take the notifications off your phone. Don't take work calls after. Listen, unless you're out here delivering babies and doing brain surgery on people, a lot of us, the stuff we do is important, but it's not like life threatening that you need to be calling me at all hours of the night. Because 9 times out of 10, it ain't nothing I can do for you from home anyway. Right? Set work-life boundaries. People talk about work-life balance. There's no such thing to me as work-life balance. There's work-life boundaries. I'm not going to take work home. Also at work, I'm going to work at work so I don't feel guilty for not taking work home. So all the people who want to chat for 4 hours and not get any work done, and then you go home and you don't have time to hang out with your friends, your girlfriends, your family, this or whatever, because you took work home. I'm going to work when I'm at work. So I'm going to put a boundary there too. I'm going to work when I'm at work, and then I'm not going to work when I'm not at work. Set a boundary. I'm leaving at this time every day. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a lunch every day. I'm setting a boundary. Block it out. Put it on your calendar. If you know you got to bang out some stuff and people want to interrupt you all the time, block it out on your calendar. Find you a place to work at work where you're like, hey, listen, I can't keep getting interrupted. I got to get some stuff done. You got to set boundaries. The same thing happens in your life. I had to set a boundary with myself around what I eat, about what time I go to bed, about when I stop working. Right? And there's a certain time of day where Evelyn shuts it down, and then it's time for me to relax before I go to bed. My shut-off time, it should not be my bedtime. Okay? So anyway, setting boundaries. You have to do that in relationships too. You know what I'm saying? It's not about being restrictive to the other person. It's about how can I maintain a healthy relationship with whatever it is I'm setting a boundary with by setting a boundary. Right? Whether it's a dating relationship, romantic relationship, friendship, family. Right? It's like, if you know your family is crazy and, you know, when you go home, they're going to be like, oh, you gained a couple of pounds. You can be like, listen, sorry guys, I ran out of memory. I'm getting used to this new camera. But anyway, so setting boundaries, right? So it's like, I have to set a boundary with myself about when I go to bed. I have to set a boundary with my friend. This is what I was saying. So if you go home and you visit your family and say, I love you, but what we're not going to talk about is, or what we're not going to do is do insults, right, as jokes or whatever, right? So if you want me to continue to come around, I love y'all, y'all love me, but this subject is off limits, right? Like, you know, it's just is what it is, or whatever you need to do. And it doesn't even have to be harsh, you guys. It's in love. Like, hey, I want to enjoy when I go home, visit my family, and if they're going to say something crazy that's going to make me not enjoy my trip, then I can either choose not to go and nobody's happy, or I can set a healthy boundary and say, hey, you know, that's not okay, and let's not talk about that. That doesn't work for me. I can give you a perfect example. So there are some people in their friendships that the women like to refer to each other by derogatory terms. Let me just say that, right? Whether it's hey, ho, call them a B or whatever, and they are under the consensus that those are done in fun and jest, right? Like, so no shade. Like, if that's your crew, rock on with that. Do your thing. No judgment here. However, that does not work for me. Like, that doesn't work for me, right? So a boundary with me is like, if you want to be my friend, we don't do that. Right, like, it's just something we don't do, you know. So if I meet a girl and I think she's cool and she starts off with the B, let me tell you something. No, it's like, oh girl, we cool, but I kind of really don't, like, that's not really how I roll, you know what I'm saying? So you just be like, hey girl, or you just call me by my name, but I don't really too much like get with that kind of dialogue, right? It's just a boundary. Doesn't mean I can't be friends with you. Doesn't mean I can't be like, gotta be like, oh, you ain't my kind of people. It's just be like, hey, listen, that's not really what I do, but you know what I'm saying? If it's cool with you, if you can respect that boundary, that'd be great. And here's the thing, if the person doesn't want to respect the boundaries, then I'll holla. In any type of situation, the boundaries are for you, not for them. So anyway, so I've ran my mouth long enough. This probably was the world's longest video. I will try to keep them shorter, but I wanted to share with you 9 things that I've learned this year, and there's probably 1,000 more, but that's all we'll do for today. And so that's it, guys. That's my 9 things that I've learned this year. I hope that they were beneficial towards you. I hope that you really, really enjoyed it. And think about if there's some things that you've learned this year that, you know, would kind of fit on this category. I would love to know. Please leave them in the comments below. But there's 9 things that I've learned this year. And, you know, all my videos won't be this like intense and heavy, but that's kind of where I'm at. So anyway, y'all, I hope you enjoyed it. And if you didn't catch my last video, like I said, it will be linked in the description box below. And I'll see you next week. Peace.